Gareth. Come here, Gareth.
What is going on?
I mean, this is the place. Earth, 1995, a town called Atlanta.
Atlanta, yes! You, as a child on Cardassia, you were told about the fabled hidden city under the sea, where the people... These people don't look like gods.
Atlanta. This is not Atlantis. This is Atlanta, Georgia, America, 1995.
Oh, boring.
This is where it all began. Meetings like this all over America is where pop stuff originated. And meetings like this can't. In fact, the great Gene Roddenberry is probably in this room at the moment.
But Dr. It's not bizarre. They seem to be looking at us.
No, they're not looking at us, guys.
No?
They can't be looking at us because we're in a whole different kind of space-time continuum warp anti-graviton matrix. They must be looking at a movie or something. A movie we can't see because...
Yes, because we're in a space-time polarized, mechanized, subnuclear continuum.
Exactly.
What is a movie?
A movie?
Yeah.
Well, a movie was a 20th century two-dimensional hologram, very dull. They used to watch them, and the 20th century was a bad time for good movies. There was one show which was extraordinary, the name of which I forget. But most of these people are probably here now to watch this show.
Ah, I see. But no, they seem to be taking some kind of amusement in it. In fact, they seem to be laughing at it rather than with it.
Well, 20th century actors are very dull.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor, our mission.
Our mission?
Yes.
What mission?
Oh, Doctor, to infiltrate, to assimilate these life forms of the human 20th century in order to uncover the origins of Starfleet. Remember? I didn't go through all the bother of rearranging my face, my physiognomy, my body, just to watch some movie. What does that mean?
Our mission?
Yes.
And your face? Your face?
And what about my face?
It's a great face. It's a good face. I mean, of all the faces you have chosen in the world... Sorry. No, it's a good face. It's a good face. I wouldn't have chosen it, but good job. Good job.
Doctor, our mission.
Of course, our mission. Right, let's do a sweep.
You mean a rogue avenging guys ionize through the molecular field down to the quarks and subatoms and so forth, the photons, for a speculative, recognitive, a perimeter scan.
Yeah. Let's just do a sweep. You take the right, I'll take the left.
Okay.
Remember your tricorder.
Yes, that's right. Anything?
Nothing!
Please.
Well, what do you make of it?
Well, I think I could use a good tailor around here.
I agree. Finding this should be easy. No trouble fitting in with this lot.
Yeah. All right, where are we now?
We're about to continue with our mission.
We're going to continue our mission.
We
Good.
have to go on with the mission.
I think I found something. Wait.
What is it? What is it, Gary?
No, I think I'm coming close to something. I can't quite focus. I'm close to it. I'm close to it. It's there! There, yes! The life form is a little weak, but yes, it's there. Yes.
Talk to it, talk to it.
We're talking. No. I may be brilliant at disguises, but I'm not able to speak with an inferior human race. I mean, that's not my expertise. You, however, as a representative of them, you're up to this task, not I, old chap.
All right, I'll talk to it. Okay. Good. All right.
Good. I think we might make contact before we expire.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Effervescently ready.
Right. Top of the morning to you. Irish. That's Irish. This is America. I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Hang on. Have a nice day.
Doctor, why don't you chill, as they say in Atlanta? Hello. My name. Hey, excuse me, you're back. I'm afraid to describe ourselves name. No name. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I've done this 100 times and I've forgotten.
You gotta think of a name. What are we gonna call you? What are we gonna call me? Someone here must have like some name things around here somewhere. It's gotta be a name thing. Hang on, I'm gonna find some name stuff here. Wait a minute. Okay. What's the name here? What's the name?
Andrew Robinson. That's okay.
That's pretty good.
Now, what about you?
Okay, what?
Look at that. Is that a name?
That's hard.
Sure.
Sid. Let's go with Sid. You're
Andrew Robinson.
Okay, I'm...
Hello. My name is Andrew Robinson.
They're all coming in now. They're all coming in now.
Yes.
Tell them all.
And this, my name is Andrew Robinson. This is Siddig Alpha Deal.
We only just made it through that. Thank you.
Boy, you start by the seated one's
We just had to think of something different to do, yeah. All right, so listen, we love to answer your questions as Andrew Robinson and Siddig Alpha sort of spread the deal. But you can call me Sid. So please, feel free, and just now we just keep in. We haven't got any more like weird, wacky stuff you have to keep up with. I told you.
I hope not.
We'll see.
I can't take nothing.
All right. Yes, sir. You're gonna have to shout it out because I can't hear you.
Yep, I'm here. Do I prefer, as Garrett, to be a simple tailor or a go? Now, if you were Garrett, how would you answer that question? I'm not being smart.
Taylor.
Both. I mean, you know, have you all seen that two-parter? Have they shown both parts of that two-parter?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, no. Okay, so what's the for saying no, I won't say it. But basically, we all love Garrett. I love Garrett's mystery as much as I think a lot of you do.
Yeah.
And basically, so much of this mystery is tied up with the fact that he was a gull, that he was high up in the Cardassian CIA, the Obsidian Order, and I think it's great that he's both. For those of you who have seen the second part of that two-party, you'll understand when I say that it looks like he's going to go more in one direction than the other. I didn't get anything away.
Well answered. Good answer.
Who's got a question for Sid?
Who's got a question?
Sid, oh, that little girl is jumping up and down.
Hi. You got a mic?
Do you two have lunch on the set?
We do. We have lunch every day on the set.
We're not nearly as interesting as the doctor and Garrett.
No, they're not as interesting. When we're doing the dogs and Garrett, they're kind of fun. When they're not, we're just like, oh my god, that was a horrible morning's work. Give me some more fries.
That Cardassian lady in the fourth row.
Are they going to give you a regular character next year?
You know, I don't know, but it would help a lot if you were to tell them to make them. I would like to, and Sid is like has been my biggest supporter with this. He's really been great, and he's given me the courage and the wherewithal to go there and sort of like put up a good fight.
We'll see.
How about what? How about Mark Allen? I don't know, because everybody has their own relationship with the company that they're gonna make.
I'd like to see them do an episode where they explore about you and his father and have Christopher Plummer play his father.
You go, Todd and Garrett, and hopefully she's saying she'd like to see that relationship explored. And there was a mention about Goldenpat's father, and Garrett was very disparaging about Goldenpat's father. I'd like to see that too. I'd like to see, and I know that they will, because Ira Dale, the writer, said that shoe is going to be dropped probably this year.
No cheers. Yeah.
Is there anything in the works to further the romance between Dr. Bashir and Dax?
Anything in the works to further the romance between Dr. Bashir and Dax?
Yes.
Well, actually, the relationship is like kind of smoothed out now.
I know, we want to hot it up again.
Well, they want to hot it up. Well, they want to hot it up again. I don't know if they want to hot it up again. We like to hot it up again. Terry and I are always like talking about, I'm bored, what are you doing this weekend? I don't know, I'm bored. Well, we can't see each other, you're engaged, but maybe on the show. We can do something interesting. Does anybody get bypassed all those protocols, those
Right.
social decencies, you know? You're married? Never mind, we'll act together. What do you mean? So, but we'll see. I think it's going to be, one of these days, I don't really know, they're going to keep you guys hanging on forever, and me hanging on forever with this relationship. But when it happens, believe me, it better happen big. It better happen in such a way that no one ever forgets it for as long as it is. Like whatever his name is in Dallas coming back in the shower. Maybe they could have both of them. We'll both come back in the shower.
I like that idea.
There's a young lady over there.
What's your favorite part of about being here?
Well, Garrett is one of the He does this to me all the time. Don't get me started. Garrett is one of the most enjoyable characters I've ever played in my life, genuinely. What I love about Garrett is what I mentioned before, is that the fact that Garrett is nothing if he's not about secrets. I think he's all about secrets. He has secrets for anything. Anytime Garrett says anything, don't believe him. If you do, I really don't have to tell you. It's everything that he says, the real truth is either the opposite or it's somewhere off 45 degrees and it's under the surface. And that's what I love about him. So the thing is that His eyes will tell the truth. His voice will sometimes intimate the truth, but his words will always lie to you. And I'm not suggesting that that's a good thing for you, young lady. You want to take them to Mark, or do you want this young lady right here?
Hi.
He has a.
I have a question for both of the gentlemen. It's the same question. Sid and Andrew, what made you both decide to take up acting as a career?
Well, I was acting as a career. Well, there was one real tension for me. I was directing at the time, and they gave me a check. That was the clincher. It was like a weird out of the blue. I mean, it's a smart answer, but that is exactly what happened. I never got paid a cent for directing. And we just had, but somehow they were giving money away for this stuff. And they still do. It's incredible. But going around and having a good time with other people's fiancés, you know. So I still get the cash for that. That's probably the big thing for me. If you wanted an esoteric answer, then it was probably the fact that I was brought up around stage, and you know, as a kid, I would spend all my time sitting around where you are, looking at people rehearsing on stage, and I tell the same story every time. But the moment for me when it actually went big that I wanted to act was I was watching some people rehearsing at a theatre called the Royal Court Theatre in London, which is like the avant-garde theatre. It used to be the avant-garde theatre in London, where the cutting-edge plays would come out. And I was sitting there watching the rehearsals. It's about rugby. I don't know if you know rugby. It's like American football without pads, pretty much. And it takes longer. Well, no, it's much quicker. It's actually. You got 4 hours to make games here, I don't understand that. But you got to get in those ads, haven't you? Anyway, these guys came onto the stage, and they were like covered in mud, and the stage was a shower. There was a big shower on the stage. So they were taking a shower, and I felt like immediately now. And I immediately afterwards walked onto the stage and walked back behind the thing to see whether or not there was actually a playing field back there. Because I could have sworn they'd come from a playing field. When they hadn't, and it was actually, they were just making it up. I thought, that's incredible. I would like to do that forever.
You see, basically, we're just the opposite of what we are in the show. In the show, I am sort of the, the realist and brings him down to earth, and he's the idealist. On the other hand, I would pay no attention to the second half of his answer. The whole fact that he could, get paid and, mess around with somebody else's girlfriend is the reason he became an actor. I, on the other hand, am a lofty, idealistic human being. I'm an artist, and so I wanted to express the innermost feelings of him. And I had a childhood, where I basically, as a kid, everybody called me a show-off. And here comes the show-off. He's going to show off now. So I figured, well, what the hell? I might as well get paid for it, so I'll be a professional show-off. And that's not a flip answer. That's almost serious.
Kind of works out. You're down to the mic.
Yes, get somebody back there, because otherwise we'll just...
Hi, this is for Anchor Robinson.
Hi.
I really love you on the show. You have such a beguiling smile when you talk to anybody, and like almost a flirtatious effect. Is there any hope that...
Well, there are rumors,
Are there any hope for Garrett?
Is there any hope for Garrett? Is there any hope for Robinson? No, you see, the thing is, I once had this idea that I had this idea of a Cyrano de Bergerac scenario in which Garrett falls helplessly and hopelessly in love with either Dax or Kira. But since they've already established something that goes on between Bashir and
It's got a really bad roommate.
and basically, Odard is the one you should do the Cyrano de Bergerac because he is hopelessly in love in an unrequited manner with Kira. So I don't think that, he's a lonely right for Garrett. I would like to see him have something more than maybe a pet mouse or something. A pet mouse would be nice to begin with. You know?
What about the Gobble
A pet
Girls?
Kardashian mouse. Can you imagine a Kardashian mouse would look like? Big neck.
Okay, no teeth, just a bone.
And then the answer. I hope there's hope for Garrett. And I hope there's hope for me. No, actually, my wife Irene's here, so my prayers have been answered years ago. Where are you, Irene?
Right, so someone else must ask a question. To me this time, please. He's a nice guy and everything, but...
Actually, this question's for either one of you, since both you guys are on the Deep Space Nine set. You may have a little insight to this. I'm kind of curious as to why there hasn't been any major mention of Voyager on Deep Space Nine, since they're part of Starfleet as well. I was kind of curious about that.
Do we know their loss? Do we know about that?
They're doing the comics.
Hasn't there been mention of Deep Space Nine on Voyager as a place that exists? There has been.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Voyager the other way around. We've had Tuvok.
Oh, we haven't mentioned Voyager, have we?
We had Tuvok in the parallel universe.
That's right.
So we got Tuvok in the parallel. I don't know how he got there. We never asked him. Maybe we all knew it really well and everything.
And when we did, he told us it was none of our business.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea. You see, the thing is, I think like any show, like it took Next Generation a couple of years to get on track. Quite frankly, I think it took Deep Space Nine a couple of years to get on track. I think this year has been just hit.
Yep, it has.
I think. And I almost ate the microphone. I sick too. But it's.
Oh, that's in microphone.
But I think, it's going to take them, Voyager, a couple of years to get themselves on track. I mean, they got a great cast, obviously, and it's just a question now for them to find...
Does that mean that when we mentioned Voyager on Deep Space Nine, they're on track?
That's right. Because I refuse to mention Voyager until they get their act together.
Okay.
I refuse to.
Fair enough. It's okay, we'll agree with that. Get your act together.
Get their act together now,
We also have an instruction from Mrs. Robinson that you're to move state center so they can all see your pretty smile too.
Man, together, let's go. Yes, you got some.
I think I'm right over here.
Let's make it right. This is the one that falls.
Good. I have a question for both of you. I would like to know what Bashir truly thinks about Garrett and vice versa. The character tell the truth, that is.
Garrett is well, apart from the most important, Garrett was Bashir's only first friend. I mean, it was like a weird thing. This guy who was hated by everybody else because of the fact he was one of the enemy, apparently, was the only person who brought up or was a friend to Bashir in the original days. And that includes pretty much everybody in the country too. He was the only friend. So I think that he trusts him and relies on him and everything, and he loves the excitement of working with Garrett, because there's any chance that he's spy orientated. So good James Bond, Bashir fancies himself as James Bond every now and then. So I think he loves that, and he knows what Garrett is, but he can't be said to everybody else because it's just, it wouldn't be cool for everybody to know that's really working. So, they go off and put some plan together, and Garrett is talking about him being Taylor, and then he's fiddling around with the computer, and this computer hasn't worked for 6 millennia, and it suddenly works under Garrett's nimble duress. So I think that pretty much confirmed it for Bashir.
And I think, to go back to your question, going back about is there any hope for Garrett having a relationship? And it's a good question because Garrett, remember that episode called The Wire, in which you really got a feeling of his emotional distress about being on the station, exiled, where gravity's too heavy for his body, the Bajoran scheme, which they would. It would be like, exactly. It would be like sort of a lieutenant of
I don't like to bring that up.
Well, no, I won't bring that up. But basically, it was his first human contact. on the station. And what started out as Garrett wanting to just get information out of Bashir so he could put himself back in good standing with the Obsidian Order and to be reinstated back into his home planet and in the Order, became a friendship. And especially at the end of The Wire, that was true. And so basically, what he really thinks of Bashir, I believe, is that it's an invaluable friendship. Basically, it's a relationship in which they give a great deal to each other. What Bashir gets from Garrett is a certain amount of political savvy. Garrett has been around the political barn numerous times. He knows who's in, who's out, what the power structure are, who's saying what, and how they're saying it, and what's underneath what they're saying, and what the truth is. And what Garrett is getting from Bashir is the best that human beings can offer someone. Compassion, care. He's a doctor, and there's no mistake that he's a doctor. He's a very good doctor because he has compassion for people. He does care for people. And this is something that Garrett first found intriguing, and now is kind of like beginning to assimilate into his own behavior. Not that he'll ever become a good guy or he'll ever behave like a human being. I don't think he ever should. But I think that cold-blooded Cardassian behavior is being modified by his relationship with the Doctor.
I agree.
Hi, we young lady here to the right.
Hi, I've got one question for both of you. What did you think about your first Star Trek convention?
Honestly? Honestly, I was warned before I went to a Star Trek convention by TNG actors. They would say, or not even TNG actors, actually, people just on Star Trek. And the actors weren't so much, they go, watch out when you go to a convention, man. They're like nuts there, man. Check it out, man. You've got crew guys who are normally fixing the lights and stuff. They would be like, just be careful. They're like, don't touch anyone. And they like freak you out, Going, really? God, I'm going to a convention on Friday. So I went to San Antonio, Texas. I was incredibly surprised because I wasn't actually totally freaked out. I was expecting to see the most weird. Actually, I did see a weird bunch of people. But that was somewhere else. I'll tell you about that later. The weird car show I went to. They sent me to a car show. And where was the car show? It was a car show in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska. I've never been there before. I went and I was sitting on a big, they put me on a big thing, big table. In front of me were like Chevettes or Corvettes, whatever they're called. And they were experiencing American cars. Yeah, lots of American cars. I don't know. But they put me on a big thing, a big bench, and they had my name in like huge banner, like the Cobb County Civic Center. But it spelled completely wrong. I mean, it was like Straggle-Daggle or something. The show had been out for like 2 weeks. It had only been out for 2 weeks, so no one had a clue who I was. I was sitting up on this bench, kind of alone, and the guy over the thing was sort of saying over the panel speakers, "Hey, check out the Mustang! There's Dr. Shubar. He's on the thing there. He's one of the new Star Trek Doctor. Check him out. Get an autograph, And I had that sort of one person that came up to me, and so I went, do you know where the restroom is? That was all that happened to me that day. But the fans, when I went to a convention, were actually completely the opposite to what I heard. And the nice thing is, which is now the same, is that they're also warm and generous, and for complete aliens like us, you're really nice, and it's the nicest, easiest thing to do. We can get on stage and do like we did when we first got on here, make complete idiots of ourselves, and you let us do it. We can't buy that, really.
Thank you. This was an experiment today, and it's one I decided I'm going with it. It beats getting up there and saying, "Hi, I'm Andrew Robinson. I'm an actor. Worked years, and I've been on some very important shows, and you should know me. I came up with a cure for cancer. I'm very important, and I want you to regard." So, I mean, this beats. Now we come, our pants fall down, you see our butts. So it is, pretty much. So it is. Anyway, I was surprised. My first was in my first. Okay. Anyway, so, and people there were this is a rowdy crowd from here. They were very polite, very, nice, but very quiet. And I thought maybe I was supposed to have prepared something that was going to be uplifting, or somehow going to bring them up out of their chairs, But I was surprised at the mildness of it. It wasn't until I got to Pasadena that I Pasadena, California. So
there's someone with a hand. Cleveland. Oh, that's right. I'm going to get to you, young people.
Yeah, we'll go to that Cardassian in the third row next.
Bajor,
What's it, Bajor here?
Oh, no, you were listening.
I was pointing to the Cardassian, but you're pointing to the...
No, that's a Cleveland.
That's a singer?
What are you? You're a Bajor or you're a Cleveland? No, that's a Bajor. No, you're a Cleveland.
He's recognized Kira, he's in love with her, okay, so let him talk. If your wife doesn't mind, Irene, can I get a picture with you later?
Yeah.
Second question for Siddig. Do you still have family in Sudan, and how do you feel about the political climate there?
Whoa. Right, yeah, back to Earth, absolutely. So yeah, I do have family in Sudan. I have a father and about 2,000 relatives in Sudan. Literally, really. They have a lot of children and a lot of cousins and first cousins and second cousins and eighth cousins. For them, it's about the hardest possible existence imaginable. I've over the years been fairly acquainted with it because I get information, and some of my relatives are politically affiliated in Sudan and end up being thrown in jail every now and then for long periods of time. And my father was in fact in jail for 8 years of my life, so that was kind of bizarre. Where's your father? He's in prison. And I had to explain myself out of that all the way through school. Well, politically, he's a political prisoner. Kids just don't, what, political prisoner? What do you steal? And they're probably right. Yeah. But so anyway, I went through that. It's about the harshest place at the moment in the world to live. I can't think of anywhere harder. And because of that, I do a lot of work, and with great help from my fan club and Andy and anyone who I can collar with Amnesty International. And that's if anyone sees that group, they do wonderful work. And without the risk of boring you, I'd just like to just talk about Amnesty, because only for 1 second, and that is that if you like, they're the nearest charitable institution to Star Trek Federation. They go around the world helping people out. And they releasing people who shouldn't be locked away out, meaning out of prison. And that's their function. Giving freedom back to the people of their nation. So thank you for your support. Thank you.
Yes, we promised this young lady.
Young female man.
Oh, okay.
Young man.
It's a young man.
Young man. Forgive us. That was we probably dishonored you now.
Garrett is really a woman, though,
This one's for Rap. How did you like the role of Dirty Harry?
Oh, boy, Dirty Harry was it was my first movie ever. And I thought I died and gone to heaven. And I thought all filmmaking was like this, working with really extraordinary people and an amazing role. I didn't realize that people were going to take that character so seriously, and then for the rest of my life I was going to be clearing rooms. That's the way it goes. I mean, literally, people would see me. That was the worst part about it, was after I made it. I loved doing it, but after I did it, I'd walk down the street and people would look at me as if, he's going to do it, man. That's the cat that's going to do it. But you know something? I've gone to the roughest neighborhoods. I've met some of the toughest people, because I've been, living my life, and nobody ever bothers me. And I'm basically, a coward. But people figure, well, you can play somebody like that. Obviously, he's not to be messed with. So I appreciate it for that. But,
My husband will let me ask your room number, but I was wondering, I know you can't predict what the writer's going to write in, but the doctor seems to be
most least likely to be left empty-handed. I'm wondering what you would think if they had something going on.
Boy, she
What do
knows
you think about that?
This is Star Trek, isn't it? Well, the doctor, I mean, yeah, I don't have to concur. He's probably unlikely to be left in command of the station. But he, I mean, I don't know. It could happen. It's Star Trek, right? Anything can happen. I got 4 of me all in command of the station. They're all talking to each other. I can't read your question. I'm sorry, I have a really bad memory. No, I really don't. You had a bit at the end of the question, which I remember. Oh, that was supposed to be the role where I was in command. I don't know. I mean, I like the doctor, yeah. I've been trying to say engage a lot like actors, too.
Practicing my engage, just engage.
Maybe so. I've got an English accent. That's the only thing I can do to match Patrick Stewart's kind of stuff. You know. I'm trying to do that when people come to my trailer, I say, come. Nobody does it anymore. You want to come in, is it? Yes, come in. Engage, sit down, be seated. Can't do it. So I don't know if I would be left in charge, but if I was, I would, I don't know, if I would, I'd like to believe Cisco is a great part. I mean, it's a great commander because he's so hands-on. And he's developing. I mean, I know there's been like all sorts of turns and shifts and lefts and rights with Cisco. But in the last season, he's really, he's the man on, even Patrick Stewart's character, Sorry about my memory, this is a bad place to forget that name. Okay. His character was never as hands-on as Cisco is. I mean, he's like in there, in the action with his sleeves rolled up, fixing the pipes with O'Brien, you know. So if I was any kind of guy, I wouldn't mind being like that. I like that approach. Fine. It took me a long time.
Sid, first time you saw yourself as a toy action figure, what did you think?
I said this before, Lou, right? First time I saw myself as a toy action figure, I was actually quite terrified, but I was sure the producers would fire me and hire that instead. See, guy, well, use this. You put it on screen. Yes, Commander. He's dead, Cisco. Actually, I didn't recognize the action figure at first because he's actually a completely different colour to me. He's like the Mike Jackson toy figure.
Andrew, do you play tennis, Shirley?
Yes, I do.
Tennis, Garrett?
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. What was it that made you ask that? Give me back to mine, please. I'm sorry. What made you ask that question, please?
The episode or...
Yeah, no, I know. But what in that scene, I know it was, I'm so proud of it. It's the way I picked up that tennis ball with the racket. My wife is convinced that I wasted a decade of my life on a tennis court. And when I saw that one scene and the way I picked up that ball, I was vindicated. By the way, before anybody, I assume that probably many of you saw Sid's episode Distant Voices, right? And he was amazing. Genuinely.
Thanks, Sandy. Text in the post.
Sid, what is it like to play a doctor on TV where all that technology doesn't really exist and all of a sudden you're throwing all these different things back trying to get back out?
It's much easier than playing a doctor in real life, like I tell you. The fact that technology doesn't exist and the hurts don't actually exist makes it very easy. I'm pile in there and do whatever I like with these guys now, I'm going to be dead and be fine. It's fun, and some of the things might exist one of these days. I'm pretty sure the tricorder will be around within a decade. At least in terms of a handheld scanning device for people. And we've talked with various medical experts who come to see the show, come and visit the set and stuff, and they're all saying, we really could finish developing this thing. It's exactly the same as the tricorder. It'll tell everybody what's wrong with them. It's in your pocket. It's like your own portable scanning, CAT scan. So it's quite interesting working on that with things like that. Hopefully we can
inspire people to do stuff like that. That isn't the answer you want, is it? It's just like laughing. What's the joke? Go on, tell it.
When your character Julian turned 30 on the show, it really hit home with me because I turned 30 this year. And if you,
I'm so sorry.
If you're 30 already, did you go through anything like that on your 30th birthday?
I'm 29. Believe me, when I turned 30, I won't be on that show for weeks. No, I don't mind the idea of 30. I love it. I think my ideal age is anything like 40 or 50 or something, and I've much better being that age. So I'm looking forward to getting there. I used to think that when I was a kid, so I was like, I'm proud of being a kid. I bet all kids here sometimes think that. I want to be an adult right now. I'm still in that kind of mode.
What happened to him on that show when he turned 30? Did that happen to you too? Did you go up to 175? She felt like it.
Oh no, that was not so bad. It won't be so bad. It was quite fun to do on the show with Gary because I could play that. I like the idea of doing that. But it's great. You'll be fine. Happy New Year.
I actually have a question for you, if I may. First of all, with Derek being so enigmatic, do you get the opportunity to contribute a lot to his background and to the way he's being developed?
No, actually not at all. And I never know. Now that, well, for those of you who have seen all the episodes that I've been in this so far, which includes the two-parter and the end of the two-parter, the last episode, you now know as much about Garrett as I do. I'm not kidding. The writers are very secretive. I don't know anything about Garrett. I don't know anything about his background, really. I only know what they give me in the script. So if they give me a script, I read through the script and suddenly I learn new things about Garrett. I would like to think that they have some magnificent strategy for doing this, that they trickle out information to me because they don't want me to have too much information. I think probably the truth is that they're making me up about 5 minutes before I act it. So I don't. The only thing that I do get to contribute is in the playing of Garrett and the physical behavior and that sort of reptilian civility that he has. Yeah, thank you.
The second question is, I know you said you're hoping that you get the chance to develop a relationship, but as an actor, do you think you can explore more of Bashir singly or within a relationship on the show?
That is a good question. I think there's lots more. I mean, because Bashir is such an open-ended character. I mean, there's no way that man is a stereotype. Okay, you can't. I can see. So there's a lot of development that can be done still with that. He's another day, another character, pretty much, you know. And every day that he's developed and continued on the show, his character has changed a little bit in some way, maybe subtle, maybe not. And so I think there's kind of infinite, as infinite as we all are as individuals, that infinite possibility exists within him too. That's kind of really philosophical. My child. And within terms of a romance, I'd love that to happen because that's a really real part of life. And I wouldn't mind that to start kicking in with Bashir. And how he navigates that and how that happens to Bashir is another question. Because if it was going to be typical Star Trek fashion, it would be like another babe, another planet, another babe, another planet, another babe. So it would be nice to not do that, you know. And I think they're trying to wait for the right girl to come along for him. Someday she'll come along. I've got to follow my story. There's a lady here who's going to be next.
A couple of years ago, some of the Next Generation cast did a play to benefit Amnesty International. Do either of you have plans for something similar?
I think about
For international cons? Oh, Amnesty International.
Do you cons for Amnesty International?
Oh.
Play.
Oh, to a play practice. Well, that takes a huge amount of organisation. It's a great idea. It's a really good idea. We talked about it, but it takes a spectacular amount of organisation. And whether or not we can actually get that off the ground is another matter. Patrick Stewart was a very powerful actor in Hollywood in his own right, and still is. And he could pretty much get that sort of thing rolling by just suggesting it to someone. And they would like say, right Mr. Stewart, right Mr. Stewart, right Mr. Stewart. They'd come back and they say, we've got your 15-gig tour, whatever play you choose, with an orchestra of 500, and whatever you want to do, we'll fill it. I don't know that anyone on our
our show has that kind of talent, to be honest, except for Andy, who has pretty good crowd. But it is a great idea. It's a great idea. We'd like to do it. We're both Andy.
And basically, what we're trying to do, I also work with Amnesty International, but I'm also working with Save the Children Foundation. Because I figure they're both working. One is working with the children. The other is working with, well, certainly with probably more with adults who have been incarcerated and who have been mistreated politically. And basically, and within our cast, we're very organized in terms of how we want to, like, in other words, we really try to put as much resources and as much money towards those organizations as possible. Because I think there's a quid pro quo here. We would not, and I'm not saying this in a disingenuous manner, we would not be here if it were not for you fans. There would be no Star Trek if it were not for you fans. There certainly would be no Garrett, there would be no Dr. Bashir if it were not for you fans. And all of us on the show, I can tell you, are aware of this. Every one of us are aware of this. And that there's a certain amount of timing that is our responsibility. And I speak for most of the cast on this, not for everybody. And we feel that the tithing then could go back into these organizations, which is why we do have a real responsibility about this. So if we can organize something like that, I think that is a very good direction to move in.
This question is for Ingrid. I just asked how long does it take to put on the Kardashian makeup? Is it uncomfortable to wear?
Yeah. I understand why people ask that, because it's not a natural thing. How long did it take for you to put on your makeup? No, you.
Little fella Klingon.
The little Klingon. How long did it take? 45 minutes. It takes me about 2.5 hours to get into Garrett. And the worst thing about it is, when you were called very early, Sid found out on his episode, Distant Voices, when he had to go into that incredible makeup. We were sometimes called into the studio as early as 2:30 in the morning. And the worst thing about the makeup is the first splash of cold, wet glue that goes on your face at 2:30 in the morning. And that's a real drag. After that, it's kind of uphill after that, but, slowly. You get used to it. But then we work long hours. We sometimes, a 14, 15-hour day is the rule rather than the exception. So what happens is that rivulets of sweat begin running underneath all that makeup, and you can't itch it. So you just walk around with all these areas of itching, and then your skin stops breathing. And then you turn into a monster, and then you die. It's not as bad as all that. It really is. And it takes about an hour. It takes about an hour to get off. But it's challenging. You really have to go into a Zen-like state and let nothing upset you during the day.
Not mistaken, were you in the trailer having makeup applied when the earthquake hit?
Yeah, this is an extraordinary story. The big earthquake in California hit at about 4:30 in the morning. And there were 4 of us in the trailer. There was Armin Shimmerman, plays Quark, obviously. Mary Crosby, who was playing Quark's girlfriend in this episode, called The Prophet and Lost, I think it was. And then there was Ed Wiley, who was playing Cardassian, who wanted to kill Garrett, and there was myself. So we were all in various stages of makeup when the earthquake hit. And most of us, we had our faces on pretty much. And all the power went out, of course. So we were all wandering outside after this incredible bouncing up and down makeup trailer. Actually, the makeup trailers were rickety affairs to begin with, and we were actually hitting our heads on the top of the trailer. So then when we came out, it was eerie. There was no light, no power, no sound except for distant sirens and transformers popping, and these aliens wandering around wondering what the hell. So I was able to get home on the phone immediately, so I knew everybody was okay. Armin and Ed Wiley couldn't get home, and they got really uptight because they lived in the valley where the earthquake was the worst. So they jumped in their cars and drove home. Now, picture this. There's no electricity.
So there are no traffic lights. So everybody has to come to an intersection and stop and do what we never do in LA, which is to look at the other person in the car. And so people come up to the intersection and they look and they see Cork. After you, sir.
The aliens have come. This was an earthquake that was preconceived by aliens. The cracks. It was very bizarre. Yeah.
Go for it. You haven't got a mic. Shout it out.
What do you do for?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird aliens, you're familiar with Morn, who, to my knowledge, has never spoken on the show.
Never, no.
Why does he have an action figure and Jurek doesn't?
Yeah, you know, I think maybe, I don't know, but I would guess, Morn is so recognizable. If you know, you look at the action figure of Bill the Cot, and it looks about as much like Mark Lamo as, you know, Shirley Temple looks like Godzilla. I mean, there's really not much. And I'm afraid that, well, you know the old expression, all of us Cardassians look alike. You know? You've seen one, you've seen them all. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. On the one hand, if they ever made an action figure of Garrett, I feel like really made it. On the other hand, I think it might scare me. You know, for the same reason that Sid just said that.
Basically, the way he speaks. And you could possibly imagine Morn. I don't know when Morn will actually utter a word, but if he does, if he sounds like Mark, it's sort of something like, oh, I'll have another beer.
Cut, Fritz, thank you very much.
Can I do that again? So he did, but make a little time for that.
Get that fellow down there that you cut off.
Yes, stop, gentlemen.
This is for both of you. What do you do in your personal time, if you have it?
What do I do in personal time?
Sleep.
You don't want to know. Go away, this is personal time. I don't know, I've just sort of moved into a house and I have a dog and I'm just sort of, I kind of just really trying to still settle into being in America because it's taken me quite, I mean, it's taken me a long time to settle down. I've been here for 3 years, otherwise I should be settled by now, but I haven't been. And I'm sort of in this house and I haven't got any furniture yet, so I just sit around to kind of think where I might put furniture out of any. I've got one sofa there, one of these days, let's get a sofa. But I don't actually, I'm not very active, I don't sort of go, there's not much in LA, at least I haven't found, unless you go to the movies or whatever they do in LA, I mean, I don't know. There is much to do, I mean, you can't, there are places you can go, if you go out of LA, take a 2-hour ride or something, and you can ski, or you can go to the beach or something like that. But I don't get that far, I mean, I don't get out of town, unless, I mean, if I go away, I go out of state, and I quite enjoy doing that. But I don't really have personal time, not really, not much goes on, it's very exciting. So I probably shouldn't take so long answering that question.
You know, basically, people who are regulars on the show, they work incredible hours. They really do. Someone like myself who works a third of the shows at most, you know, it's a different story. But they work long hours, and they're usually in every show. And when the weekends come, they kind of like collapse into Odo's bucket, you know, and come to a pool. And basically. Whereas someone like myself, I mean, I'm not a regular, so I have to do other things. Otherwise, I'd be kicked out of the house. I mean, or anyone in the house. That's a whole other story.
I've been told we have time for one last question. So I'm afraid you must choose, because I'm not going to do it.
I think it's pretty unbelievable.
Is there a lot of camaraderie on the set, like practical jokes against each other and things like that?
Against each other? Against each other. Ah! I put a hand grenade and this jokes up this morning. Oh, Andy. No, actually, it's a very dignified cast. No, very civil. We have tea together, and we open doors on each other. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. No, actually, but there is a lot of camaraderie. I think there is great friendship that is.
We are very good friends. Most of us, I mean, we get on really well, of course, and our relationship is mirrored in most of the cast, and we don't tend to play practical jokes to each other, unfortunately. I must answer one more question, but we must answer one more question because it wasn't a great answer. we got another question.
No, we were boring.
Please.
All right, I picked the last one. You guys pick one.
Okay.
Why, that there, sir, you with the beard. That's it, yes, that beard.
Thanks, he said.
Either of you may not know this yet, but do Dax's spots go all the way down?
To where?
Good answer. Good answer.
They go all the way down. Thank you very much.